Just a short drive inland from Cape Otway is a sight that many of us wouldn't expect to see. A plague of koalas.
Where are they?
There's one right there. See? I'm not kidding.
Oh yeah, and there's
right
another
one.
There's koalas in almost every tree. It's estimated there could be up to 9,000 koalas in an area that covers 350 hectares. And we're here to find out why.
Oh, it's great, yeah.
Cyril Mariner ran a caravan park and horse riding camp back in the 80s. But with business dwindling, he thought introducing koalas to the area would attract tourists. So he wrote a letter to national parks.
Well, I wrote to parks and said, look, we've got manigums down here. My customers said that they love manigum trees. Why don't you bring some koalas down? And that'd be a great tourist attraction.
And that was enough to bring all these koalas here?
Yes. They just happened to have an overpopulation on French Island, and they brought down 2 lots of them, around about 30 at a time.
So 60. You started with 60 koalas?
60 koalas, yes.
Wow.
But the interesting thing is, when they came here, they used to cry. For the last 3 weeks, they cried as though they didn't know where they were.
Oh,
It
really?
was different. But when they settled down, they discovered these trees were just great.
So were you happy about your letter there?
Yes, I was, because really it did improve tourism in the area.
So it did have a positive effect?
Oh, it had a great positive effect, yes. It's one of those things that eventually it lost its shine.
When the tree started dying?
Yes. When they started to overpopulate, the trees started dying, and we realised we had a problem.
The manna gum woodland provides a gourmet meal for the koalas. It is low in toxins and high in nutrients, so the koalas are thriving, but the woodland is being stripped bare.
Biologist Dr. Desley Wisson is a koala expert, and this overpopulation of koalas is a rare opportunity for research.
I started investigating these animals out here about 5 years ago, and we had about 10 koalas to a hectare, and now it's closer to 20. And the tree condition has really, really declined.
In some parts of Australia, there's hardly any koalas and their populations are in danger of dying out. Why can't you just take some of these koalas and put them there?
It'd be nice if we could, but like up in Queensland, numbers are declining quite rapidly. But Queensland koalas are very different to the koalas we have down here. They're much smaller, their fur is much less dense, and our guys down here, they just wouldn't survive the conditions up in Queensland.
And in New South Wales and in other parts of Victoria, it's a similar story. Okay, so translocation's not really an option. What other options are there?
There's really no other options. We can't cull koalas. That's banned under the National Koala Management Strategy. So all we can really do is try to protect the habitat.
Sterilisation?
Sterilisation is very slow acting. If we were to sterilise animals here, it would be probably 5-10 years down the track before we start seeing a reduction in numbers. Defoliation's happening at a very rapid rate, and these koalas are going to have to try to find other food sources. So I actually suspect that some of these koalas will move.
To track their movements, Desley and her team are radio collaring koalas.
So we're going to catch a female koala up here with the quite young Joey and put a radio collar on her.
So should we just stand back?
That would probably be a good idea. If you guys start flagging, I'll have the noose rope ready. And just watch out because of that small Joey. We need to give it time to get onto her back.
We're here for support. Anything you need, I'll just be over there.
Sure, maybe just moral support.
Yep. We believe in you. Are you going to lasso it?
My team will bring her down a little bit and I'll put this noose over her neck. And it just means we've got good control of her when she comes down.
Oh, well done.
Oh, baby.
Oh, little one.
Good girl. Come on, off the tree. She's tiny.
That was a bit of a shock. You were just at the top, having a rest.
She's feisty.
She packs a punch, though.
While Desley settled Mum and prepared her radio collar, we looked after her baby.
Would you like to have a hold?
Sure, if she's okay.
Yeah.
There you go. And she probably wants to climb up, especially because she can see all this lovely hair.
She's all right.
There you go.
Yeah, you're okay.
You make a lovely tree, Anya.
I'm looking for your mum. No. You just keep those claws down.
And we'll get this collar.
A GPS logger attached to the collar tracks the koala's location and movement patterns. So the reason I've got her down this way is so that her feet are on the ground. They're not going to be able to come up and scratch you, okay?
Okay, you've done this before?
Yes.
With an amateur?
Yes.
I'm not talking about her.
Yes.
Okay. She's actually really small. She's a young mum. She could be a teenage mum.
Well, we don't like to judge.
Oh, no judgment there. She's doing a great job.
So, we're going to put it through there.
Yep.
And just pull it nice and tight.
Is that good?
Right. That's lovely. Right, but you need to clip off the excess.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful.
Lovely. She's done. Head length is measured.
126.8.
And a happy snap is taken of every koala collared. The joey is weighed.
800 grams.
And reunited with her mum.
Oh,
yeah.
There's Mummy.
She's looking at us.
Yeah, they often do that.
But they just sit there and look back at you?
Yeah, after you release them, they'll do that.
I reckon they're just trying to remember your face for next time.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Results so far show koalas move in very small ranges. Over 1 month, they were found to browse only on 3 to 4 trees, a range of less than half a hectare. However, there were a few exceptions. Some koalas were found to venture up to 8 kilometres from the study site. These longer movements suggest koalas can travel if they have to, but it's whether they choose to or not.
That's one of the questions that I'm trying to answer with this research is if the trees start dying off, will these koalas actually move of their own accord?
And to help answer this question, Desley's also monitoring tree health.
We look at both stringy bark, manna gum, blue gum, other species that we find in the area. And manna gum is just, you can see from this graph here, we're looking at about 40% of trees in critical or dead condition here in this particular area.
Can you do something to the trees to stop the koalas from eating them?
You can always put a collar around a tree. The difficulty is if you're working in a woodland, the canopies overlap. So you need to cut branches off neighbouring trees to make that collar effective.
Frank Fatinas owns the local tourist park and is always trying to keep one step, or in this case, one tree, ahead of the koalas.
You call it a lot of these trees.
Yeah, well, you have to collar them all because if you leave one, firstly, it's going to die because it's going to get overgrazed. The koalas still get into these trees, but it limits them, so you're not going to get a big plague through them, so you won't get 20 in a tree. You know, you might get one here and there. It'll allow this forest to recover. And then once it recovers, we'll pull the bands off, and then we just have to keep monitoring it and make sure that there's not that much damage.
And Frank's also planting a new generation of trees.
So are these the manna gum seedlings?
Yeah, these are manna gums, but we also do plant messmates.
Just to make sure there's a bit of diversity in the forest?
Yeah.
All right, well, why don't we plant one of these?
Sure.
You're planting a lot of these seedlings, aren't you?
Every year we try and plant 300 or 400.
And how's that working out?
We're getting better at it. The first few years we didn't have a very good strike rate because, you know, we planted the wrong time of year, wallabies kept getting to them. So now we realise that if we plant a lot together and we try and plant in autumn, and then we get a much higher success rate.
Well, I hope this one survives. Are you going to take good care of it?
I'll try my best.
There's no easy solution. While Frank keeps planting and collaring trees, Desley and her team will try to find some answers. In the meantime, this big guy is headed for the nearest manna gum.